Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Nate.Of.Assisi YouTube channel. I do want to apologize for the lack of uploads. I've been very busy over the last couple months, and well, I haven't had time to record and edit a full video. But today's video is a very interesting one, and it's going to be talking about how the Deuterocanonical books of Scripture, which are the 7 books included in the Catholic Old Testament, but not the Protestant, which is First and Second Maccabees, Wisdom of Sirach, Wisdom of Solomon, Baruch, Judith, and Tobit, all show the Assumption of Mary, her being the new Ark of the Covenant, and even the Immaculate Conception. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, so first we're going to be starting with the second book of Maccabees, chapter 2, verses, let's go 5 to 7. So pretty much what's happening is Jeremiah is instructed before the Babylonian, not the Babylonian, before the Babylonian invasion to hide the Ark of the Covenant, the tent, and the altar of incense is right here. When Jeremiah arrived there, he found a room in a cave in which he put the tent, the ark, and the altar of incense. Then he blocked up the entrance. Some of those who followed him came up intending to mark the path, but they could not find it. When Jeremiah heard this, he reproved them. And this is what he said: the place is to remain unknown until God gathers his people together again and shows them mercy. Then the Lord will disclose these things, and the glory of the Lord will be seen in the cloud, just as it appeared in the time of Moses, and when Solomon prayed that the place may be gloriously sanctified. So, what does this mean? Let's talk about that. So as we read in Second Maccabees, the location of the tent, the ark, and the altar of incense remains unknown until God gathers his people and shows them his mercy. Now, people may look at this and be like, well, when did that happen? We don't know where the ark is. We don't know where the tent is. We don't know where the altar of incense is. Well, I think we do. You see, the thing about it is, it doesn't say God will reveal the location or disclose the location. It says he will disclose these things. So it could be in reference to the actual ark, to the tent, to the altar of incense. So when God shows his mercy, he will reveal to the people what they are. And I think if you study church history, you study the facts of of who Mary is, you see that Mary is the new ark, the new altar, the new tent, to show that God did disclose these things. And it is through, Mary. Mary is the new ark. Jeremiah's prophecy didn't fail. It's just obvious in the fact of, no, this thing which the Jews understood of, oh, no, the literal ark. We're going to find the literal ark. No, we're going to find a better ark, the ark of the new covenant, or the ark of the covenant which never dies, which is again Mary. So this is how the Deuterocanonical books show how Mary is the new ark of the covenant, how it is pretty much necessary for it to be the new ark of the covenant, or unless Jeremiah's prophecy failed. So why does it talk about the assumption? What does it talk about the assumption? Well, I'm gonna have to take you to the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4. So let's get into that. So as we see in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verses, let's go 10 to 14. This is a reference to Enoch, but let's just read it. It says, "He who pleased God was loved. He who lived among sinners was transported, snatched away, lest wickedness pervert his mind or deceit beguile his soul. For the witchery of paltry things obscured what is right in the world of desire, transformed the innocent mind. Having become perfect in a short while, he risked the fullness of a long career, for his soul was pleasing to the Lord. Therefore he sped him out of the midst of wickedness. But the people saw and did not understand, nor did they take this into account." Now, obviously, as I said earlier, this is a reference to Enoch. Those who know the history of the Book of Wisdom of Solomon and the Second Temple period, Enoch was really highly revered as a great saint for the Jewish people. But it's very interesting how we see this phrasing, how we see that it isn't like God didn't just snatch him up because, oh, he was a good guy, he was a prophet. No, he snatched him up because he lived among sinners. He was snatched away to prevent his mind from being perverted, from being, done bad to becoming a big sinner like the people of his time. Now, would not then logically follow that Mary, who is the new Ark of the Covenant, who is loved by Christ, as his mother, the perfect creation that has ever been created, which is Mary, again, is it not then logically follow that if God took Enoch, which he was a sinner, he sinned too, and he took Enoch up, why wouldn't he take his own mother up, the mother who birthed him, the mother that is immaculately conceived, that is without sin? And I think that this is a clear showing of clearly this is how God thinks. This is how God saved Enoch from the cursed generation of his time, and snatched him up into heaven to save him from that. I think that then reading this, you will have to 100% say that the same thing happened to Mary. I think 100% the same thing happened to Mary. And again, Catholic doctrine states she was assumed body and soul into heaven. I think it's the logical understanding of this passage, and even passages such as Revelation, where it tells the women being taken up. So yeah, that I think this is a good proof for also the assumption of Mary in the Deuterocanonical text. And our final scripture to try to prove the Immaculate Conception being present in the Deuterocanonical text, to use those texts to prove the Immaculate Conception, we have the Book of Sirach, which is a very important book. The Book of Sirach is, for me, the most important of the wisdom literature in the Old Testament, because it has so much depth to it. And yeah, it's the Book of Sirach, chapter 10. So let's get into it. Okay, Wisdom of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 19. So pay attention, guys. This is very important, especially the phrasing in this verse. Whose offspring can be in honor? Those of men. Which offspring are in honor? Those who fear God. Whose offspring can be in disgrace? Those of men. Which offspring are in disgrace? Those who transgress the commandments. Now, take out the phrasing in this, especially in the word disgrace. Those who are in disgrace is anyone, and I mean it means anyone who transgress the commandment. Anyone who has sinned is in disgrace, according to the book of Sirach. So anyone who's ever sinned is in disgrace. But Mary, she's not in disgrace. Did the angel say, Hail Mary, full of disgrace? No. He said, full of grace. Full of it? There is no disgrace in her whatsoever. She's full of grace. Therefore, since she's full of grace, there's no disgrace within her. Therefore, she has never transgressed any of the commandments of God. She has not sinned. She can't have sin within her since she is full of grace. There is no disgrace within her. Therefore, this shows that Mary, being called full of grace, whether it be inside or outside the Jewish context, she has no sin. Any Jew who would have heard full of grace would have been like, wait a minute, you mean she's full of grace? She doesn't have disgrace? I thought disgracing was sinning. Although the Jews did not consider this scripture, any intelligent Jew at the time, especially the Pharisees and the Sadducees, would have understood that this text and calling someone full of grace implies that they have no sin within them. So again, this verse right here proves the Immaculate Conception just by the fact that it exists, by the fact that being in sin makes you disgraced, but someone full of grace has no disgrace. Therefore, Mary did not sin. She is sinless throughout her conception and beyond. So there you have it. Three examples, and these are three big verses in the Deuterocanonical books, which show the three main doctrines of Mary. Her being the Ark of the New Covenant, her being assumed into heaven, her being immaculately conceived. You don't even need the Deuterocanonical books to prove the perpetual virginity. That's in the New Testament. It's clear. But you see these non non canon books for the Protestants, and these books are important to understand these doctrines. So a Protestant will say, "Oh no, that's unbiblical." Well, it's only non-biblical because you remove the books which prove the logical conclusions of these things. So clearly, so when Protestants say, "Oh no, that's not scripture," blah blah blah, you got to have some level of calmness. You got to be like, "Okay, they say this because they don't have these scriptures. Because if they did, it's obvious," which makes it clear that these books are one divinely inspired because the church has said they are, and two, because they are divinely inspired, the conclusions which we arrive to with Mary are divinely inspired. They're all within the context of Scripture. So if you guys enjoyed this video, like, subscribe. I'm gonna post more videos hopefully. I've just been very busy, but yes, they're coming soon, guys. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one.